Welcome back to Battle Cage. It's your boy Saif, and I'm coming to you with another great video. Today, UFC 311, headlined by Islam Makhachev taking on Arman Tsarukyan in their highly and overdue rematch. Since that very first outing back in April of 2019, both men have shown incredible leaps of growth. This is another great rematch of 2025. Looks like that could be the theme, the year of rematches. Let's see if Arman Tsarukyan has what it takes to get this one back against Islam Makhachev. Let's get it. All right. Let's get this popping. Now, before I start, I'd like to let you guys know I've decided to break this up into two parts. This is part one, as the title said, main card only. So if you're for the full card, I'm sorry, this is not a full card. I decided to break it up because this card is just absolutely stacked from top to bottom, and I just didn't want to divide my attention. And some of us are really interested in the main card. Some of us like the prelims or whatever. Some of us are just addicted to everything. From the betting perspective and just from my love of UFC, I decided to break this up because the main card is it's where it's at. That's in my opinion, from the entertainment value and from the betting perspective. But I'm gonna do another video close to maybe midweek when I have much more data and much more confident, because this one, the main card, requires no tape study unless you're new to the game. I know these guys. I know what they bring to the table. I know what type of fighters they are, so I feel much more confident to bring this out to you right now. So part one, main card only. And, as always, remember one thing. All I ask you is like, comment, and subscribe. Engage with me. That means so much more. Let me know if you think I'm on the right path or you think I'm completely insane or out of my mind. So without further ado, let's get right into the picks. We're going to start with the very first main fight. This is the title fight. Islam Makhachev is defending his title against Arman Tsarukyan. This is a rematch to their first fight back in 2019, where Arman Tsarukyan, a very young, confident guy, 22-year-old, stepped on the short notice in UFC Russia. This was I think the last time they were in Russia, 5 years ago. Maybe under Trump, we go back to Russia. Who knows, right? But for now, that was the last time I believe they were in Russia. It was a good event. That was back when Overeem was still relevant. If you remember Overeem, he headlined that card. So in the co-main event, Islam Makhachev, very young, very green, up and coming. I believe this was his 7th fight in the UFC, so definitely much more experience. This was a debuting Arman Tsarukyan. This is not the Arman Tsarukyan we're gonna see this Saturday. This is a product. The Arman Tsarukyan that's gonna come in this coming Saturday is a byproduct of experience, resilience, training, and this is the top Arman Tsarukyan that we're ever gonna see. And same thing with Islam Makhachev. Although you could argue at 33 years old, is this the changing of the guards? Is this the perfect time for Arman Tsarukyan to overtake and basically win this rematch? Let's see. So in the very first outing, it was a very heavy wrestling pedigree type of fight. I'm talking about within the first minute, you see Arman Tsarukyan, this young guy, 22-year-old, attacking for a double leg takedown against Islam Makhachev. Now, we're going to go over here and I'm going to pull up their very first fight card stats so you can, follow along. All right, so this is their first fight, guys. It was a unanimous decision for Islam Makhachev. It was a pretty low striking volume, which is not surprise. This was a wrestling fight, a very high level wrestling fight. And even back then, you could see that Arman Tsarukyan was very talented and that he would have a prosperous career. And this, most likely they're going to see each other again. Now, one thing to notice, if you look at the stats for the takedowns, Arman Tsarukyan shot 12 takedowns, but was only able to land one. I expect the same way that I said that Mackenzie Dern that shot for, that was 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 takedowns against Ribas in the first fight, This is going to be a different fight. You don't be surprised if Arman Tsarukyan gets multiple takedowns against Islam Makhachev. Don't be surprised. In fact, there is a narrative that Arman Tsarukyan could potentially ragdoll Islam Makhachev because he's in this top peak condition. And there is that narrative. There is. Now, I'm not saying I'm buying that narrative, but there is that narrative. But look, 1 out of 12, very young, green, Arman Tsarukyan, only 1 out of 12. You can anticipate. Now, this doesn't mean definite. You can anticipate it could happen again. Now, Islam Makhachev was able to successfully take down Arman 4 out of 9 times. 2 of those takedowns came in the 3rd round. That's because Arman Tsarukyan was noticeably gassed. So this is something to consider, and it has been a repeating narrative. Islam Makhachev, he just went through 5 rounds of war with Dustin Poirier. You know, he pulled out that submission all the way at the end. I believe Islam Makhachev is capable 100% going the distance, going to the deep waters. To this day, Arman Tsarukyan scares me going that far. If this fight is going to go to the championship rounds, it's going to go into that 4th round, it's going to go into that 5th round, it's going to go into that last 2 minutes that could decide the fight. Do I believe 100% that Arman has it? Probably not. I'm just being honest. All that muscle mass, all that crazy physique that he has, it's great. It's absolutely great. It's fantastic. I mean, I'm jealous, but I just don't know if he can sustain the cardio. Now, he has taken this fight extremely serious. He's dialed in. He was training in the mountains in Russia. Like, he was really, really going in the same way that Islam Makhachev probably is training in the mountains, because that's what this crazy guy does. That's what they do with Khabib, right? Now, so definitely a different Arman Tsarukyan. You have to respect that compared to the first fight. But you could see in that first outing, you can definitely see that, you know, it was like Islam Makhachev, you know, being the bigger brother, babying his little brother. You know what I'm saying? Although that little brother gave him some business, right? He was, you know, pushing Islam against the cage. It was interesting to see. He was the only man that actually put the pressure against Islam all the way to the 3rd round. You know what I'm saying? But again, that was in the past. Now we're talking about the present. What is going to happen? Well, if you look at the lines, and we are going to look at the lines, but the lines have shown progressive, you know, confidence in Islam Makhachev. So let's look at the opening lines. You can see Islam Makhachev opening at -218 December 9th, and progressively just going down in value because because he's Islam Makhachev. So there's less belief of what I just described, that, you know, if this fight goes to the 5th round, you know, the longer the fight goes, can Arman Tsarukyan sustain the pressure that he wants to bring on Islam? Because there's no way in a world that I can see Arman Tsarukyan going out and just completely starching Islam Makhachev. It could happen, but he has shown that he is not a bona fide striker. That's not his game plan. I'm not going to say that he's not going to do it. It's a fist fight. At the end of the day, it is a fist fight. We could look at the win by, right? So if you look over here, Islam Makhachev is not a knockout artist. Okay, he's just not. His recent knockout only came from Volkanovski when he head kicked him. But, you know, 41% of Arman's wins are by KO. Although that's not his, you know, usual agenda. The submission game, it's definitely live for Islam Makhachev, and the decision. That's where they thrive, right? You look at the average fight time. Arman tends to go longer because he usually goes to the decision. It's just what he does. There's significant strikes. You know, it's favoring Arman Tsarukyan because he's usually the better grappler in most of his fights. He dictates that fight, and he kind of dictates the pace. So yes, I get it why that's it. It's lower for Islam Makhachev because, well, he just usually uses his ground game too and just suffocates, right? Significant strike percentage though. even though the volume is low, Islam Makhachev is very precise. He's almost at 60% of with significant strikes. Absorb per minute, it's very low. It's very understandable because these guys usually don't get hit. They're the ones who are dictating the fight. They're the bullies in the fight. So that's very understandable. And you look at the defense. The defense is good. The defense is, both of them is good. So there's no saying anything extra here. Here's the grappling. The grappling is their mirror images in the takedown averages. They shoot almost three, right, per 15 minutes of their fighting. Takedown accuracy, it is much better for Islam Makhachev. That's just because he's a much better wrestler in most of his fights. Arman tends to shoot a lot, but there is some resistance because he's fighting high caliber. But there has been nobody that's given Islam any resistance like that. Takedown defense, though, this is where it's going to matter. That takedown defense is 90% for Islam Makhachev. This is what they do. This is what they do from when they were born. This is what they do as they grow up. This is what they do still in the mountains with Khabib. This guy is the closest we've seen to Khabib, and a little bit better because Islam Makhachev has better striking than Khabib. Khabib had almost no striking. He just relied on his heavy pressure and his wrestling. Islam is a little better striker. You know what I'm saying? Every generation that they're putting out, they are getting that much closer to the perfect UFC fighter. That's why Umar Nurmagomov, who's going to destroy, that's next, who's going to destroy Dvalishvili, he's a much better striker compared to Islam Makhachev, and he still got the wrestling pedigree. And then you look at Usman Nurmagomov. That guy is a freaking ninja. He's like a hybrid, right? So every single generation after Khabib, they're just becoming a perfect goddamn MMA fighter where it's not only wrestling, but the striking is on full display. So going back here, I don't want to get sidetracked. So that defense is there. The submission is always favoring Islam because a lot of wins are coming in from submission, and we'll take a look over there. And now, currently this odds is obviously old. So let's go back to this screen. And currently Islam Makhachev is sitting at -410, and that's the price. That's the real price. I believe -218 was a gift. If you are believing in Islam Makhachev, if you believe what he does, who's faced, really tough competition, and we're gonna take a look on each individual here. Actually, we can take a look right now. So just quickly, right, in the last 5 fights, Islam Makhachev is in 4 title defenses. He went through Bobby Green. That was, whatever. First round. Charles Oliveira, he made him look like not a champion. No disrespect for Charles. Volkanovski, they had to run him back. Although I will tell you this, I'll go on record. Believe it or not, I watched the fight with Volkanovski in the very first outing, and I do not think he won a unanimous decision. At best, you could have given him a split decision, but Volkanovski put such a beating on Islam Makhachev, and he's a 145 that went up to 155, and he's much smaller than Islam Makhachev. So that first fight was very, very close. Not a unanimous decision. Second one, yeah, he knocked him out. No argument. It is what it is. And the battle with Dustin Poirier, well, that was a true battle where Dustin Poirier was able to stuff takedowns. He really made Islam look like human. This was the best Dustin Poirier fight in terms of, like level-wise. This was his ultimate highest level. And I respect Dustin Poirier for that. He just happened to get caught in a submission. Now let's look at what Arman Tsarukyan is doing. And Arman Tsarukyan, he's going through heavy competition. He does have a blemish right here. He has a loss against Gamrot, and that was the fight where again, very high level pedigree wrestling fight. He just happened to be on the losing side, and that's a red flag for me because I think Islam Makhachev would have never lost to Gamrot. He went through Ismagulov, Silva. He goes through Silva. You have Beniel Dariush. That was a good knockout. Like, hats off to him. And then finally, Charles Oliveira, he has a split decision win. And I disagree with that split decision win. Maybe because I did have money on Charles Oliveira, there is that emotion. But I rewatched that fight. I even rewatched it today. that first round, I don't know how you're scoring it. I'm gonna score it for Charles Oliveira. The guy had him, he was on top. He had him in a guillotine predicament, and in the last 15, 20 seconds, he was able to get up and he puts a couple of punches on Arman Tsarukyan. So that first round, I'm gonna give it to Charles. The second round, yes, he got controlled most of the time. We could give it to Arman. But that third round, man, Charles was in the game. And he finished the fight on top, smiling, tongue out. Again, that split decision, maybe they were pushing this fight. I get it. But again, if you're going and you're having trouble with Charles Oliveira, and no offense to Charles Oliveira, but I don't think Charles Oliveira can beat Islam Makhachev. This is just what I strongly believe in. That's not a good look. A split decision win to earn a title shot. Now he is focused. He is going to come in prime. This is going to be the prime Arman Tsarukyan. But the lines don't lie. The numbers don't lie. And there is the same consensus that Islam Makhachev should win. Now, the only asterisk here, I'll be very, very transparent. The only asterisk here would be, I guess, maybe that age difference, because I just noticed from fighting from not me personally, from MMA, because I don't fight, not yet. But just from looking at 33, 34 is the changing of the guards. This is where the champions usually lose their titles. So this is going to be the hardest fight, just at a resistance, because Arman Tsarukyan's side is going to come in with a lot of pressure. A lot great physique. Like I said, he's definitely dialed in. He's training. He's been training. You can't take that away from him. He really wants to fight. He's meditating. He's envisioning. He's doing everything you need to do to become a champion. Let's see if he can. I'm personally going to say no. I'm still going to pick Islam Makhachev. I don't think that is his time. In his recent interview with Demetrius Johnson, he said that he still wants to fight. He still sees himself becoming a double champion, possibly moving to welterweight, which will be so fun. I would love to see Islam move up and fight for the strap. I think that would be crazy. Now, I'm sure he doesn't want to fight Belal Muhammad, but let's see what happens, right? But that would be a good fight. I think he can definitely go up to 170 and give them a lot of trouble, no doubt. So that's an extensive review on the main event, but it's the main event of the night. So I had to go a little deep. I had to go a little bit more talking than I should. And just statistically speaking, there's that height advantage for Islam. He's the taller guy. The reach advantage does lie with Arman Tsarukyan, 72.5 to 70, so 2-inch reach advantage. The striking, we explained the striking difference. We explained that striking accuracy is favoring Islam Makhachev. We explained the takedowns and takedown accuracy. We went through that on the other side. So the pick is Islam Makhachev. I have him. He's in my flip parlay, which I'll reveal. Well, right now he is my that is the flip parlay. I'll be talking about it in the next video. Make the bet a little bit more extensively. But that's it. No secret. Islam Makhachev is the pick. I think he's still game. His body of work speaks for itself. He's there. But there is that but. It's a fight. It's a fist fight. It's a fight in general. Anything can happen. One punch, one slip, one takedown. It could just change everything. A muscle tear, a shoulder pop. But I think Islam Makhachev is still the right pick. The line movement is indicating it. And the public perception is on it too. I'm just scared that so much money is on Islam Makhachev that there could be a rebound effect in the universe and Arman Tsarukyan wins. But we'll see on Saturday. The pick is Islam. Let's move forward. All right. In the co-main event, we have another title fight. We have Umar Nurmagomov taking on Merab Dvalishvili. I'm going to go on record and say I really love... now I'm a little questioning, but I do like the body of work that Merab Dvalishvili did, and he was destined to become the bantamweight champion because he was just due for it. Everybody else was just... He was going to win everybody else except Umar in the division. So I totally get his, a little bit of butthurt feeling, if you will, that all of a sudden they're giving the champion the chance to Umar Nurmagomov. And I'm sure he wanted to reign the champion a little bit more. He wanted to run it back with O'Malley for sure, because he knows he has the wrestling advantage. He's the machine. It's what he does, right? He definitely could have beat Peter Yan, because he beat the living shit out of him in the first fight. So I've been picking Merab for the longest, except now. So this is gonna be it's gonna be much quicker than anything that I went through. So I'm gonna go really quick. We're gonna go at the record. We have a perfect 18-0. I expect Umar Nurmagomov to be 19-0 and new bantamweight champion in the UFC, because he just again fits the description. He's going down the lineage. Like, he is, in terms of the skill level, I personally think he's much better than Islam Makhachev, because he has the wrestling, right? He has the wrestling. He has to have the wrestling. Like, that's cousin Habib, goddammit. But his striking is beautiful. So he has threats. He has submissions. I think it's an easy night for him. Well, not easy, but it's there. If it needs to be, he has all the tools. Physically, so let's look. Physically, again, 5'8" to 5'6", so slightly bigger guy. The reach is pretty much the same. The leg reach is pretty much the same. Win by, not known for their knockouts. That's not what they do. They are wrestlers. Merab is more of a decision machine. Umar does have the submission, very sneaky submission. And I think Umar, in the last 5 fights, only has one knockout. I think that's right, against Raoni Barcelos, if I'm not mistaken. That decision, as you can see, Merab is a decision machine, and I doubt it's going to go the same thing for in this fight. Just, whatever. But he's going to put up a good fight. He's a tough Georgian guy. I have nothing against him. Average time, like I said, they go heavy. Striking. Striking, 63%. That's a big difference. That is huge number. So 63% is going to go to him. Absorb per minute. Umar doesn't get hit as much. Merab does. He has suspect defense over there. Only 56%. And look at that, 63% striking defense. Wrestling-wise, takedowns, obviously this number is 6 because he's been taking down everybody. It's not going to be the same here with Umar. Umar has, very significant takedown average, takedown accuracy, 50% to 36%. So, the machine, Merab, he can go 20 attempts and probably land like 10 or 12 or 13, but he'll shoot the whole night. Takedown defense, that's what they do. So 80% to 100%, very good. And now let's look at the odds. All right. When this fight was just announced, Umar Nurmagomov was minus 170. I wish I knew that, because if I would have seen that line, I would have probably hammered it straight. I just didn't see that line. At minus 170, that was such a playable line. That's why within a couple of days, as you can see, it's just line moved to 198, 218 is probably where I got Umar at minus 218, because I put my bet relatively early. I believe I caught him at 218 or minus 238. We can double check me. So yeah, and then progressively as the days went through, minus 278, minus 305. He's now minus 325. I suspect the close at fight day, it could get to minus 400. It could, maybe minus 375, 380-ish, but expect the line to move a little bit. It kind of settled down right now because we just had a UFC event, so everybody was betting that, and I hope you guys reserved your money. I told you guys to play very conservatively, because now it's gonna get crazy, right? Because there's gonna be a lot of chasing if you took a hit last week. So if you did take a hit last week, you should just skip this one and enjoy it. Don't play it. But if you must, listen to me. I believe the pick here is Umar Nurmagomov and new. He's better everywhere. He's tougher. You know where he's coming from. You know what he's bringing to the table. There's no secrets. It's just and new. That's it. There's nothing to say. There's no real analytics to go down. It is what it is. Umar Nurmagomov is just better everywhere. Let's keep going. All right. We got a good one right now. We got light heavyweight action. Jiri Prochazka taking Jamahal Hill. This is a good fight. This is a redemption fight for both of these guys. This has, number one contender implications. Both victims to Alex Pereira and getting knocked out by that Powhatan beast. But yeah, let's take a quick look for these guys. Physically, they're both light heavyweights, so tall guys. Reach wise, one reach advantage to Jiri Prochazka. The volume is definitely favoring Jamahal Hill, 7.18 to 5.38. The accuracy pretty much the same. The takedown and submission could be favoring Jiri Prochazka here, but it's not when he's really known. The only time we've really seen him utilize that was against Glover, but that's because he was defending it and he was in the back foot, so he was able to kind of reverse and get the neck of Glover and then submit it. But he's usually a striker. Jiri Prochazka is really known for his striking. 30-5 record, 12-2 for Jamahal Hill. Jamahal Hill, his career was going good, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately for that freak injury where he initially pulled out, and then I think he kind of rushed in for the title fight, but whatever. And I think he underestimated the Powhatan in the title fight. So that's something to consider. But Jamahal Hill is a great fighter. He's one of my favorite fighters. Sometimes he does do some stupid shit, if you know what I'm saying. But shout out to Jamahal Hill. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jamahal Hill. He's definitely one of my favorite fighters. I remember texting him on Instagram when I saw him on Dana White's Contender Series, and I literally said, bro, you're gonna be a champ, and he was like, yeah, for sure. And that's how much I really believed in Jamahal Hill. So the pick is gonna be here for me. It's a little bit of bias pick. I'll go on record, but overall, just from the absorbed damage, Jamahal Hill only got knocked out once, so that's a good thing for Jamahal. Jiri Prochazka, he keeps getting clipped. Jiri Prochazka, he keeps getting clipped. There's gonna be lots of love on Jiri Prochazka. I'm sure there's gonna be lots and love, but if you look at the betting perspective, it is very, very close. Let's hover over to the odds right now. All right, you look at the odds. Jamahal Hill -105, -115, and same thing with Jiri Prochazka. They're just in there. It's neck and neck. You know what I'm saying? Very, very close fight. Every single bookie has it at pick'em because it could go. It's a coin flip, right? Because at the end of the day, no one is certain. And the bookies don't know yet. They don't know any. They're like, yo, let the best man win. We don't know. We'll just let the public decide. We'll keep the lines closed. No one's really taking heavy action as far as I know. Again, I don't have the inside scoop. I wish I did. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Jamahal Hill for two reasons. I don't think he absorbed a lot of damage. He did get knocked out, but Jiri Prochazka, like I said, actually we can take a look. In the last 5 fights, Jiri Prochazka is getting knocked out twice. So he got knocked, and it's Alex Pereira that's knocking him out. That last knockout was very, very crazy. But the win against Dominic Reyes is good. He became a champ. He lost to Pereira. He great comeback against Alexander Rakic, and he just got knocked out again from Alex Pereira. So that damage that he's absorbing, I think it's adding up to Jiri Prochazka. Plus, considering the tread miles, 37 fights at this point. 30, yeah, that's gonna be his 37th fight. Jamahal Hill still kind of young on the treadmill. Only his 15th fight going into this week. I think Jamahal Hill wants that rematch against Alex Pereira. I think he's gonna take him a lot more serious, and I think he wants the rematch against Alex Pereira, and I think he's gonna implement a pretty solid game plan here. And I'm gonna go with Jamahal Hill. I'm gonna take Jamahal Hill to win this fight. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a finish per se. It could be a very close, dicey fight. But the pick is Jamahal Hill. Let's keep rolling. Oh yeah, we got a good one next. Another lightweight bout. We got Beniel Dariush taking on Renato Moicano. Show Me the Money podcast. Shout out. I love that podcast. A lot of great insight, information. But that aside, Renato, Money Moicano. Ever since he turned into Money Moicano, he's been doing it. I mean, jeez Louise. Take a look at his body of work. His last loss was to Rafael Dos Anjos. I remember that fight. I picked Rafael Dos Anjos. But listen, like he said, the man was sitting on the couch, eating chicken and drinking beer and steak and beer, and he gets a call. It's like, yo, can you make the weight? And he kind of had no choice. I believe that might have been a catch weight. Let me take a look. Was it a catch weight? It was a co-main event. It was a catch weight. As you can see, yes, it was a catch weight. So he couldn't even make 155. I forgot what the catch weight was. It could have been like 165 or whatever it was, or 160, right? So, nevertheless, that's why he kind of has a loss. You telling me you give him a full camp, he ragdolls, Rafael Dos Anjos. But then he goes, Brad Riddell submission, Drew Dober. That was such a good fight. Where he kind of got clipped, and Drew Dober had some openings, but still he wrote out a decision. He gets completely knocked down by Jalen Turner and comes back in the second round and just beats Jalen Turner with a KO himself. Plum him, just beats him down. And then what a gangster! The man goes to France and fights Benoit Saint-Denis. A raging Benoit Saint-Denis. Even though he just took another L, but so a raging Benoit Saint-Denis, and basically, yeah, he goes to the enemy territory full of confidence, and he gets it done. And he's fighting, a battered, I'm gonna say a battered Beniel Dariush. It's not the same Beniel Dariush. Beniel Dariush is a pretty good fighter. Like he was putting work. He beat Gamrot. Tony Ferguson win. I don't know how much stock you want to put it over there, but Diego Ferreira, that's a good win, split decision. But look, getting knocked out by Oliveira, that's a bad luck. Getting knocked out by Tsarukyan, although you can say, and he's been out of the game. His last fight is literally a year ago. That's a long time to be out of. Although getting knocked out back to back, kind of cold for this a little bit hiatus to be out to recoup, because the brain can only take so much damage. But man, Moicano, he's only on the upside. He's full of confidence. He can match Beniel Dariush in the grappling, in the takedown, in the pressure, in the striking. We can actually take a look at the striking over here. Win by, KO. They're not really known for that, although, Moicano's getting some knockouts as of recently. The submission threat definitely favoring Moicano. As you can see, 50% of his wins are by submission. Some decisions over here. Fight time, pretty the same. Striking wise, Moicano throws more significant strikes. Pretty much the same over there. Absorbed, Moicano does get beat on a lot, and he does bleed sometimes. But who cares? He doesn't quit. He doesn't stop. So love me, Moicano. You look at the takedown defense, they're pretty up there for both of them, so that's a good thing. Takedown accuracy, ever so slightly, Renato. So on paper, it's not such a wide gap. I just think here it's more of motivation gap. Renato level 1,000. Beniel Dariush, have no idea. Getting knocked out back to back, it's not a good look. And he's 35 years of age. It's not like he's like super old, but it does catch up to you. 35 years, and they're both 35 years of age. It's not like they're both spring chickens. It's just, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta feel it, because you get knocked out back to back. It ages you, man. I don't give a damn what anybody says. I've never been knocked out. I can only imagine. You know what I'm saying? So So the pick is going to be Renato Moicano. He's currently 2-1. We can actually take a look at the lines right now. Renato Moicano, yeah, 2-1. Opened up at -148. Took a leap down to 218. Stayed there. Pretty much so far stayed there. There is some rebound on Beniel Dariush, as you can see. -238 was the highest Renato was. Now it's settled in at -205. Beniel Dariush opened up at +124. He's now settled in at +170. And from the lines, I think it's fair. I think the lines are very fair. They're very reflective, because at the end of the day, Beniel Dariush still is that guy. Crazy experience, 22-6. So he definitely has the experience. Like I said, I'm just gonna be betting on who I think is more, who has more to win, and I think it's Moicano. And who has more to lose, and again, that's gonna be Moicano. And remember, Moicano cannot afford to lose. So we're gonna go with Moicano. I really hope he wins. I'll be very, very happy. I'll be very ecstatic. I wouldn't put so much stock in terms of money wise. If you're down and you like looking, oh man, this is my short thing. I'm gonna get 50% return because at 2-1. I'm gonna slam 5,000, get my 2,500 back. I'm not saying to do that. I'm not saying to. I would never give you such bad financial advice. The pick is gonna be my boy Renato. Show me the money, Moicano. Yeah, let's move forward. Alrighty, we got a good one. We got Kevin Holland taking on Renato de Ritter, and I'm gonna keep this one relatively short. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Instead of going through all this mama jama, we could go really quick. KO wins. Kevin Holland. That's his kind of bread and butter. That submission threat, is scaring me from Renato de Ritter. RDR. I think let's just call him RDR. Decision. They're not really known for that, but that can happen. Significant strikes. Looks like landed per minute is going to favor Kevin Holland. He got those fast hands. Absorbed. Kevin Holland does get hit. Grappling. Man, this is the scariest shit. This is that scariest shit. 100% takedown defense for RDR. Takedowns, 6. That is scary. And I think this is why he was able to move the line. This is why some people move the line. All right. So started as an underdog, +124. It's now settled in on pickup, -105. And that's because of this. That's literally because of this. People are going over here. They're looking at the takedown average, and they're like, man. But a lot of it, because he's shot against, fighters that didn't give him too much, resistance. Although he was going crazy against Merab, and Merab is a kind of a wrestler himself. So, but it was a sloppy fight. I remember that fight, and I'll probably rewatch it again. But from what I remember, it was a very sloppy fight. I don't like it. Let's look at the advantages. Size-wise, pretty much the same. The youth advantage on Kevin Holland, 3-inch reach advantage on Kevin Holland. The striking volume is favoring Kevin Holland, and the takedown is definitely favoring Renato de Ritter, and that's pretty much what the deciding factor is here. Do you believe Renner can get Holland down? Can he keep him down? Can he, grind out a decision? That's pretty much what's going on. That's why, once it came down to that, there was rebound money, I guess, back on Kevin Holland because he's trash. Renner is not that good. I mean, he didn't give me anything to be very awe. I was not in awe. He's just not that good, in my opinion. I'm not sure if he's UFC level. You know what I'm saying? But he's in the UFC. It is what it is. You got to take it at face value. I'm gonna go on a very risky situation here from the betting perspective. I will advise you not to bet this fight. That is the most sound advice you can get. But if you're a gambling degenerate, and if you're a fan of Kevin Holland, because I am, we're gonna back Kevin Holland. So the pick is gonna be Kevin Holland because I think he can crack Renato de Ritter in a nice precision crack, or he could catch him in a nice submission. So that's also a threat for for Renner here against Kevin Holland. But that takedown, and that's always live. I'm just letting you know. So it is a scary proposition. Flip a coin. Financially, the most smartest thing you can do is not bet this fight. But if you do want to bet this fight, you bet it live. You bet it live. If Renato takes down Kevin Holland and he does no damage, and Kevin Holland is fighting and he's, elbowing and using his long limbs and he's getting up, if that happens after the first fight and the fight is kind of close, if Renner is like minus 200 and plus money on Kevin, I would consider throwing a live play on Kevin Holland, because Renner is going to gas out against the volume and speed against Kevin Holland. He's going to super exert himself, and Kevin Holland could potentially catch a very, very nice knockout and bless Reina de Ritter. So I'm gonna go on a scary pick. I'm gonna pick Kevin Holland, and I'm gonna consider this as a great live play opportunity. That was the part one. Main card is in the bag. So if you like this content, you agree with me, disagree with me, comment down below, engage with me. I'd like to hear you. Remember, like, subscribe to my channel for more content. I'm really gonna appreciate it, and it's gonna really help me a lot. So I'm not selling you any websites, no memberships or anything like that. I'm just doing this because I love this. I love this game, man. I love this game. So let's get it. Let's cash some checks, and let's not lose. You know what I'm saying? Part one is in the bag. I got part two for the prelims, and that coming out relatively soon. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you won't miss it. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Thank you. Bye-bye.